So welcome to lesson 3, where we actually create variables. So a variable or a box must have three things. So we should have a name, it should have a type, and it should have a value. Now, if you recall from the last lesson, we said that the box can be empty. So actually, we only require two things, a name and a type. Okay, so keep that in mind. 90% of the time, we actually have a value. The other 10% is just the name and the type. Okay, so what does it look like to create a variable or a box in C++? Well, it's straightforward. All we need to do is to specify the type. Okay, specify the name of the box, the name of the variable, the equal sign, and if you're going to have a value, what the value is. And we have to end it with a semicolon. Okay, and that gives us a box, that gives us a variable. Now, what are the different types that we can use? Well, we saw that we could use an int for integer. Okay, so numbers like -11, 0, 22, numbers without a decimal point. Okay, we say int. If I have a number with a decimal point, then I say double. If I have true or false, then I say bool. Now, if I have a string, right, so hi, hello, 66 in quotes, anything in double quotes, we need the string type. And if we have single quotes, for example, a, the %, and 7 in single quotes, these are referred to as characters. So these are the types that we'll be using about 90% of the time. Okay, so you need to become familiar with these 5 types. Now, let us create variables. So for that, I will use an online tool, pythontutor.com. So let me go to that site, Python Tutor. Okay, it's this one. All right. So we have different programming languages to choose from: Python, Java, C, C++, and JavaScript. However, since we are using C++, we will click on the C++ option. Okay. Now, don't worry about all of this. All we're going to do is to say edit code here. Okay. So we have a bunch of stuff. Again, we don't really care about much of it for now. We're going to get rid of all of this, and we will only keep line number 1, line number 3, line number 5, and line number 6. Right? So as we go through the course, you will learn exactly what these mean, what this mean. You will learn why we need this, you will learn why we need this, and you will learn why we need this. Okay, so just take it on faith for now, and I promise you, as time goes on, this will all make sense to you. So how do we make a variable? So creating variables, boxes. Okay, so variables, of course, is also called boxes. Now, whenever you see me type 2/, that means I am creating a comment. Okay, so I am creating a comment. So this is a comment. So what is a comment? A comment is something that we can think of as documentation for us, the programmer. Whenever the computer sees a comment, it ignores it. Okay, the computer does not care about comments. Comments are for us humans. Right? It reminds us what we're trying to accomplish. All right. So, how do we create a variable? We need a type, we need a name, we need the equal sign, and we need a value, and then a semicolon. So I'm going to say int, let's say age as the name, an equal sign, and 44. Let's create another one. Let's say double value 12.5. Okay, so I have created two boxes or two variables. Okay, so again, how do I read this? Well, int age simply means I want to create a box that has the name age and has the type int. And after I have created that box, I want to put the value 44 in it. Right? So to see this, I'm going to click here at the bottom which says visualize execution. And over here, we'll have sort of a visualization of our code. Okay, so the red arrow will tell me that if I click next, this will be executed. So currently, age and value doesn't have anything. Okay, I haven't created them as yet. So let's create them. Okay, so I have created the age box that is of type int and it contains 44. Next, I'm going to create value and I'm going to put 12.5 in it. 12.5. And we are finished with our program. So how do you know where the program starts and where the program ends? Well, in programming, whenever you see this curly brace, that tells me I am beginning my program. And when I see this closing curly brace, that means I am finishing my program. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so I'll go back to edit this code. Okay, and I will show you how we can create a box without assigning it a value. So let's say char letter and semicolon. Okay, so what that means is that I have created a box, but it is empty. All right, now whenever we have an empty box, we need to eventually put something into that box. And so on line 9, I will show you how to put a value into a box that has already been created. That's very simple. All I do is to type the name of the box, the equal sign, and whatever I want to put in it. So let's say I want to put capital A in the box. Okay, so let's visualize. Okay, and so now if I click next, we have 44. Notice I have letter, nothing is in there, right? We know it's a char. And on line 9, I actually put an A in it. Okay, so you have seen two ways how to put a value into a box. The first instance is where we actually create the box and put the value in it at the same time, right? On the same line. The second instance is where you create the box first, so it's empty, and then you put the value into the box. Now, I want you to notice the distinction, the difference. Okay, so here I am just saying what type the box should be and what the name of the box should be, and that's it. Now when I want to put something into that already created box, I simply get the value on this side, and I have the equal sign, and then I have the name of the box. Okay. Now, this brings me to the point that is extremely important. You can only create a box once. Let me say that again. You can only create a variable once. So if I try to do this, come down here, okay, and if I decided to say char letter, okay, so the computer will be confused. All right, it will say, okay, you made a box here, but now you want to make the same box again. That doesn't make sense. Let's see what happens. Okay, right away it's telling me, it says error, redeclaration of char letter, which simply means you're trying to make a box twice. Okay, so this box with the name letter can never be created twice. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's fix that. So we get rid of this. Okay. Now, if you want to create another box, you must always make sure that you use a name that you have not used before. Okay. So I could say char, maybe vowel. Okay. Maybe I. Okay. This is allowed. This name has not been used before. Okay. So I'm creating a new box that will hold a character. And I give it a character immediately. Right. So these are the only two ways that you can put values into boxes. You either do it all at once, or you do it in two steps. Step 1, step 2. Let's just check this to make sure it works. Now, whenever you make a mistake, this tool will simply ask you if you want to submit that mistake. Usually I just say close. Okay. Okay. And then we can start visualizing again. So next line, and finally next line. And then the program finishes. All right, so that's how we create variables in C++. Again, there are only two ways of doing it. You do it all at once, or you do it in two steps. So the next thing I want to do, I want to show you a tool, a website actually, that we'll be using sometimes. And it's going to be called Replit. Okay. Let me put that over here, Replit. So what I want you to do is to sign up or create an account on this site. So to do that, you simply say sign up for free. All right. And then you can just click on continue with Google. All right. And then of course, choose a Gmail account that you have. Now, I have already created two accounts here. So I will use a new account so that I can show you the step by step. The steps step by step. Okay. All right. So let me say next. Okay, let's continue. Might take some time depending on your internet capabilities. Okay, so we get to this point, right? And we can simply say continue, right? Let's just say continue. Well, in fact, let's just say back. Let's okay, so why is it giving me all of this? I don't want all of this. I guess I have to fill it in. So let's fill it in. I'll put my name. Okay. I'm going to say for school. All right. How much software experience do you have? Let's say I'm a beginner. Okay. And let's say continue. Okay. So of course there are different plans, right? You can pay $10 a month or 40, but we use the free version. So let's click on that. Okay, so continue with starter. All right, so that's a free version. Now, we need to use C++. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say browse all templates. Okay, and I'm gonna search for C++. And here it is. I'm just gonna click on it. And then down here, I'm going to say create REPL. Okay, it might take some time. Okay, let's just say next. Okay, all right, let's close this. Okay, so what we have here, let me maximize. Okay, good. So what we have here, we'll have 3 panels. This panel, and this panel. Okay. So for now, we don't need this panel. So I'm just gonna click this here, close sidebar, and we'll end up with these 2 panels. Okay. So again, it looks similar to what we have here, right? And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this. Okay. Right, and so we can create variables. Okay, so create a variable. Okay, I can say int. Let's say my num is 50, and then of course I'm going to come down here. I'm supposed to say return 0. Okay. All right. So this works, okay? Now, unlike Python Tutor, you will not see a visualization of your code, okay? So this is strictly a platform where you can write code and see the results. So you will not be seeing any kind of boxes showing up. If you want to see boxes, if you want to visualize your code, then use this tool. But if you just want to write a program, we will be using this one. All right, so I'll leave it here. So we should have these two tabs, these 2 websites bookmarked. Okay, so make sure you bookmark it. Okay, so add it to your bookmark. All right, so that you can find it easily. And that's it for this lesson. So again, we looked at how to find or how to create variables, right? Very straightforward. We looked at the different types that a variable can have, and we looked at the 2 websites that we will be using throughout this course, pythontutor.com and of course replit.com. I'll see you in the next lesson.